Good morning everyone. Morning Stanley, morning Nick, TJ, Zypher, Sharif, how are we all doing? Welcome. Hope we all having good morning so far. Sorry, I'm just sorting some stuff out here with my MetaTrader. Just having some issues. Okay, should be fine now. Morning Belas, how are we all doing? Sorry about that, guys. Right, so just gonna give it a couple of minutes again. I have been looking just briefly at the charts. I have marked them out. The zones, to be honest, aren't the greatest because you can see we have a lot of rejection wicks. On GJ, if we are going to be coming down looking for sells, there's not really the range to trade into. I don't know if you guys have actually sent any charts on the group yet. I don't see any. But yeah, it's not looking very good at the moment. There's, no selling range to the left here. And even if we break below this point, we also have some support levels, which are going to be quite hard to trade into. So we do need to watch out for that, obviously. Yeah, looking for clean candles. I mean, we only have clean candles below 15500, so that's still quite a while down. So what obviously we're going to be maybe needing to see happen is a low created, so something like this where we get a nice push, then a retest of a previous level of support, turn that to resistance, and then retest the low and kind of trade that sort of pivot point to get back down to this point down here. Because if we're going to be taking trades based on the break of this sort of level to get down to this level, you can see what we're trading into. It's not very clean price action. So either we're going to have to be hoping for a lot of volume or for, price to just go and then we will catch that second move. Otherwise, what we can be expecting, we're still kind of trapped in a range right now. We had a nice little retest of this previous level of support. So I would say that, based on just everything that's been happening in the world, as well as how this break and retest has happened, I think that GJ is more than likely to continue bearish throughout the day. Our daily candle already has pushed quite strong. You can see that we are coming down to this level of daily support. In fact, we're in this sort of daily wick level, so that is something to look at. The 4 hour, we did break this 4 hour level last night. Actually had sell stops below, it was about 150, where was my sell? Sorry, let me just find exactly where my sell stop was. Don't even remember myself. 155.973, that was it. So those triggered last night, worked out really nicely. Had a feeling that once we broke out of that range, that's all I was waiting for us to break out of that range in one or the other direction, and it worked out, yeah, perfectly. So it was around here, 970, bit lower, there, below this low. Good morning, Antonio, welcome. So based on the higher time frames as well, I think that there is a good chance that we continue bearish. Izzy Montana, welcome. 1 hour time frame, again, we have completed a retest of this previous level of support. We've turned it into a resistance. We've also respected that resistance once now, so we have now come down to the bottom of this range. Now we need to break out of the bottom of this range and continue bearish if we do want to catch some more of those sells. Otherwise, I think that, yeah, at the moment we just have to understand that we are ranging, respect the range, and then we can further continue later on in the day. Gold is something which is at the moment also very, very interesting. We have pushed very strong bullish, as you can see already today. Look at our daily candle. We don't even have a bottom wick on it, so that's indicating to us that there's no seller's pressure whatsoever in this candle and that the buyers are well in charge. Obviously, that has a lot to do with what's been coming out in the news recently. If we go to the news, you can see that obviously there's fears now of certain things happening. Biden says he's going to impose sanctions on Russia, and you can see that was 7 hours or roughly about 8 hours ago now. So that was this candle which had opened this 1 hour candle over here, and then you can see gold's price just rocketed because obviously if sanctions are getting put in place, no one's going to be wanting to be investing in anything dollar related, or more so investing in something against the dollar, because the dollar value is most definitely going to drop, and what that means is that gold is going to skyrocket as per usual in these sorts of situations. So definitely something to look at. Keep an eye out on the news today. Like I said yesterday, in these times of sort of uncertainty, you can make a lot of money trading just news. Our market structure, there's no point in even breaking down market structure on gold right now. We know we are very bullish on market structure. There's no doubt about that in all major time frames, or all key time frames, should I say. GJ is a bit of a tricky situation because, to be honest, our market structure on GJ has maintained, we have maintained still the bullish for our market structure. Our daily market structure is also still bullish. Our weekly is bearish and our 30 minutes bearish. So at the moment we are sitting in a bit of a 2v2 sort of situation. So once again, buys and sells can play out, but I would say due to the fundamental news, I would be banking more on the sells. And just how we've been moving, when we were ranging for so long, I kind of had this idea in my head that the way that we break out of that range is most likely the way that we're going to continue after we break out of that range, because we ranged for an extremely long time. So obviously now we want to see ourselves continue in that direction that we managed to break out of the range. If you guys do have any charts, please send them in the Telegram or in the chat. I'm still not sure if the chat charts work. Last few times I tried, they didn't. But yeah, at this point, we are just going to be waiting. What I'm going to be looking for on GJ, to be honest with you, I'm just trying to think if these potential sells are valid, but I'm not too happy with this. Obviously, it's a very tight range, first of all, and the price action is terrible. So what we're going to say here, you're from South Africa? I'm from South Africa, yeah. If we are going to try trade the range right now, what we are going to be looking for is for us to be forming our support at this sort of level, and then we can possibly be expecting a retest of the top of this range. Right now we are obviously respecting the support level of the range, so when that starts happening, that's when we're obviously going to be buying at support and selling at resistance. Obviously we like to do that when we have a trend or a very one-sided sort of structural bias. In this case we don't, which makes us even riskier. Normally we like to do that in maybe a 3v1 or 4v0 market structure. At the moment we have our 2v2 market structure, so that's going to make things a little bit more tricky, a little bit more risky, but you know, we can't always have the market conditions how we want to have the market conditions. So just going to sit it out to wait for right now. Yeah, also on gold, I wouldn't really be looking for sells unless we got below maybe 1902. These 1906 sort of sell levels, again, it's going to be high risk sort of sells. You can see we do have some range down here. Obviously, we have a wick to worry about. It's about 20 pips worth of range. The buys as well also have wicks. The markets are a bit of a mess at the moment, to be honest with you. It's no other way of putting it. You can see we're ranging on the 1 hour as well. 4 hour candles flipped bullish. 30-minute we're ranging. Absolute disastrous market conditions. If we're going to be looking at some of the more standard fundamentals coming up this week, we did go through it a bit yesterday, but we do have some very, very light impact pound news coming in later, and then we also had some yen news which came in a bit earlier, and that was also very low impact. If we're going to be looking tomorrow, we do have the very high impact pound news coming in at about 11:30. So that's going to be an hour and a half after London Open. If we're going to be looking at any US dollar related news, we don't have anything major coming in. Obviously, we still do have this underlying issue of the Ukraine situation. So please don't forget about that. Some medium impact pound news coming in on Thursday, and some US dollar news coming in just half an hour after US or New York Open. So that's going to be something to look at, and it is unemployment claims and the preliminary GDP quarterly. So please watch out for that. Coming down a bit on gold. Certainly a no trade range at the moment. I'm not going to mark this as a no trade range because you can see we have clean candles to the left here. So if we do get the support form, and then with London Open volume, if we get a break of this candle high, we might be able to come back up to the top of the range. It's going to be very risky buy entries though. Very, very risky. Fortunately, I feel bad. COVID, my test was positive. I couldn't make shot. No problem at all, Glass. I hope that you get better soon. And I'm really sorry to hear that you actually tested positive for COVID. Best wishes and speedy recovery. Tristan, welcome. How are you doing? Just gonna get this open quickly. Seen Zeems yet? I haven't actually seen Zeems yet. He said he's staying 45 minutes away from me, so I still need to make the plan to either go see him or he's going to come see me. And yeah, I'm doing great, thank you. Just waiting for something a little bit more solid to form here. Just ranging at the moment. It's really nice, these sorts of situations, when you're trading with other people, because this is when the markets are at their most boring. And then it's always nice to be able to chat to people, and because trading can be extremely lonely. It's definitely not, you know, fun all the time. But yeah. Were markets like this because of the holiday in America? I wouldn't say so. We've just gapped massively on gold as well. I wouldn't say... Hold on. I don't know why it's opening like that. Must just be my liquidity provider. I don't think it's because of the holiday. Yesterday was actually the US bank holiday. So yesterday we didn't have bad volume at all. There was some nice buy moves earlier on in the day. Those were taken on stream. I obviously closed and lost, but you can see how they worked out. Some of the guys in the chat got that. And then later on in the day, we also had some volume. So I wouldn't say that the market conditions are like this because of the holiday note. But usually this liquidity provider doesn't gap like this, so I'm not too sure why it's doing this. It's one of the main reasons why I use them. Let me see FXCM also. We did close on the support, guys, but obviously if we are going to go by what the daily trend is at the moment, you can see how strong bearish we are on the daily time frame. I think it'll be quite stupid to trade against that. So what I'd rather be waiting for is maybe another situation like we had just now, where we had this resistance level respected, and then if we form some resistance at this level, maybe take some buys back down to retest this low, very similar to what we just had. Or if we're going to get the potential risky sells, we're going to need to see price get below this 155 590 levels. That's also going to be a possibility. I'm just wanting to see this candle flip and then possibly break the lows here, and that's going to give us a possible entry. Because I think that there could be some possible news coming out just now. Let's see. TA, good morning, good morning. Let's see what's happening with the news. Minutes ago. Yeah, this is interesting. That's for sure. Thinking of some risky sells below this level. Sorry, my mic was muted. Okay, so if we start pushing below these levels, we are going to have those risky sells, obviously expecting some volume from London to come through and push us through these sorts of support levels over here, especially on the 30-minute time frame. That's where our main problem lies. But looking on the 1 hour time frame, it doesn't look too bad. Stop loss levels obviously going to be above this candle, so maybe a 13 or so pip stop loss. Very high risk trade, like I said, guys. Potential extremely risky sells. Just trying to keep an eye on the news. Gold range buys played out by the looks of it. Just got to play our options wisely here. Need some volume. Okay, well, it doesn't look like we're getting much here. Thinking about the different possibilities which we could have here. Obviously it isn't ideal market conditions right now, guys, sorry about that. Not much we can really do at the moment. Probably the best option was gold buys, but again, no real confirmation. Buying into a bearish candle, no lower time frame confirmations, really. Maybe some 5-minute support had formed, but other than that, nothing too much. GJ still messing around. We are trying to move up, however, on GJ. So that could indicate that we could be respecting the support level, and then we're going to retest the top of the range. Then if we respect the top of the range, could come back and retest the bottom, and we could get a situation like this happening for a little while, a little bit of barcoding, or, you know, slight push up, slight push down, and then that sort of stuff. Sold DAX at 14.50. 14.583. I was about to say 14.583. 14.583 and hit TP at 14.404. Done for the day. Big risk off events coming in markets. Well, glad that you took that win there, Mike. Well done. Good thing that you took that win and are calling it a day. Don't want to put those profits at risk. Definitely think we are respecting the support level. Just gonna update that zone. So what I was noticing with the problems with possible buy areas, guys, is if we go look left, see last time price was in this area, it was a long time ago. You can see that we do have nice clean range to the left, right? So we have a solid, I think it was, yeah, 20 or so pips. So even almost 30 pips. So that's a really nice range to buy into. Obviously you can see where our resistance levels marked out. If we're going to be taking into consideration these wicks, so that's where we have a bit of a problem, because if we're worried about the rejection wicks, which obviously is an important aspect of the way that we trade, you got to understand that price can reject anywhere within these wicks, which is exactly why what we would want to see is a candle close at this level and then a wick down to retest the level and then a push up, as opposed to taking impulse entry, because with the impulse entry you can see it's already happened once. If you took impulse entry based on this candle over here breaking into this range, the very next candle came all the way back down, would have stopped you out, and now price is back within this range. So you can see it's much safer to wait for that candle close and then see that continuation. 30-minute candle close is usually as good as you're gonna, well, as low as you can go. Sometimes a 15-minute candle close is alright, but I would say 30 is probably your safest. Zeems, what's up, my boy? What's up? What's up? Long time no see or speak. I would never see you in my stream anymore. Now that you're in Cape Town, you don't even come to the stream anymore. So it looks like we are respecting the support level. Zeems, do you have your laptop there? Because we can always. I want to chat to you sometime. I'm down to make plans. I told you I was meant to go away, but then didn't end up going away. But definitely, maybe sometime this weekend, actually, maybe Saturday. Helping your friend out. Okay. No stress. Get Discord on your laptop. I want to chat to you. Have you been trading much, Seems, or not really? I saw you posting your shapes bullshit on Instagram again. What was all that about? Going to Joburg this Thursday, then come back Sunday. Nice. What you going back to Jersey for? For work? You're gonna go work with your dad again? Or where are you working? Sorry, should I say work for your dad? Very quiet open, guys. Not a lot we could have done here. Actually feeling a bit tired today. Didn't have coffee. My friend, nice. I had a GJ sell stop last night because I had sell stop and buy stop set actually. Buy stop was at a bit of a higher level in case we were breaking out of this range, but the sell stop was at the bottom here to break out of. It was actually at 970, so just below this wick, and then got that. So that's the only trade I've taken. Otherwise, no buys, no sells on gold or GJ, so just waiting it out. But yeah, that sell stop worked out absolutely perfectly. Price action on GJ to the downside though is shocking, Zeems. Don't know if you've checked it out, but we have some interesting sort of situation here, which we're going to need some volume to push through. And then even if we break below those levels, we have support coming up. Another level of support, our safest option is definitely going to be below this level if we're trading purely zone to zone. This would be what I would be looking at. If you are only trading clean candles in zone to zone, as opposed to candle formations and candle setups, this would be your next area where you're going to be looking for an entry. If you're looking for the sells, because that is where our clean candles are. As you can see, it's about 19 pips worth of range. Anything other than that, I suppose maybe you could look for some earlier entries. No, it's only 9 pips, so I wouldn't say so. But yeah, that is still very, very far away. That's why what you're going to probably need to wait for is a move to happen, come back up, retest the previous level of support, and then continue the overall bearish sort of momentum that we have right now. Based on the daily time frame, you can see that we are bearish in our daily trend, but our market structure is still bullish. Well, 2v2 should I say. But you can see how we're moving right now. Gold ain't messing about. Yeah, gold does not play games. One moment you think you're chilling in your buy, next. That's why it's just safe. Don't get involved in it in these sorts of ranges. Of course, if you did buy it at the support level to kind of retest the top of the range, you would have been up. Let's see, if you took it from candle open, 30 pips. So of course it would have been a successful trade, but it's safer just to wait for those candle closes and identify the zones you want to see a possible trade in. For me, that's above 1912.71 or below 1906.35. These sells are, of course, a lot riskier under these levels. It's very against market structure. We have a 4v0 market structure, weekly, daily, 4 hour and 1 hour, all bullish market structure. Our daily is obviously trending bullish as well. You can see we don't have a bottom wick on the daily, so at some point we could come down and form that, and in that case we will start moving down into these zones, which I'll be possibly looking for some sells. GJ is coming up a little bit, but I think, to be honest, I would like to see GJ continue bearish. If we get back up to these levels, form some resistance, maybe lower time frame resistance. Yeah, not a great range that we're trapped in. Another very fun morning. There will be a afternoon call there today, guys. There will be a a members Discord. Actually, we can do an open Discord call. So if you guys aren't in the Discord and are keen to do the New York session, do join the Discord. I think the link is in the Telegram, or I can put it in the chat for you guys. I don't know if there's anyone here who wants to join that. But I don't think I'll be streaming New York session. I think I'll just do it in the Discord. That way people can ask some questions and all that sort of stuff, which does tend to be quite beneficial. That'll be 3, just before 3. So about 15 minutes before New York Open. Then we'll see out New York Open, probably an hour or so. Just gotta wait. It's very similar to yesterday, just got to wait. Nothing we can really do right now. If you guys have some charts, please do send them in. At least it'll give me something to to go through. It doesn't have to be GJ, it doesn't have to be gold, whatever you have, send it through and I'll try and analyze it. Or if you want me to check anything out, I can do that as well. Put it in here. When price is moving like this, it is sometimes a lot more helpful to go onto the higher time frames and look at, okay, what could we be looking for based on the higher time frames as to where price could be moving long term rather than short term. Now you can see that obviously we have broken out of that range that we had, and now we are basically trying to come down to this level for our support, which was expected. Once we broke out of this range, that is where we wanted to come to. We have now formed new 4-hour support, and have then, with this 4-hour candle, broken the low of that previous 4-hour candle, but now we are coming back up. Obviously that is with this current 30-minute candle, the London Open candle, and we want to see, if we do want to see that bearish continuation, we want to see this 4-hour candle close somewhat below where this one sort of opened. So you can see this candle opened here, so we want to see this 4-hour candle maybe close at these sorts of levels. This 4-hour candle does only close in an hour and a half though, because that will start indicating that, okay, we could start seeing some bearish moves. If we're going to look at the high time frames daily, the only reason why we could now start rejecting these sorts of levels is because obviously we are in this sort of daily support area. This whole daily wick counts as a daily support area, so we know how strong weekly and daily support levels are. So that's going to be something to look at and be careful of. So that's important. If we look at our current weekly candle, we're also tapping into a level of weekly support. You can see that's the support that we formed last week. So we're tapping into this weekly sort of rejection wick, and we are either going to fill this whole wick and come down and then possibly push even further. Might not happen this week, might only happen in the next couple of weeks, but that could be what we're looking for, because you can see we're also respecting this weekly resistance. We've tapped into it now, you know, these sort of price areas numerous times. So what that could indicate to us is that we eventually are going to start coming down. Monthly candles also rejecting, by the way. Not a bad London open candle, to be honest, volume wise, but just no confirmations at all. Yeah, 30 pips. That's your normal volume that you would be expecting for London open. Gold had a bit of a whipsaw. We came up about 30 pips and now we're coming down about 23 pips or so. Good morning, Glenn. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing? Okay, we are coming down. So, just thinking of if this is going to be a worthwhile counter trend trade or not, because I think we can come down to 1904. Based on how far we close. So at the moment that's about a 20 pip range. So that's going to be a little bit risky. Also taking a sell on gold in this sort of a market is I don't know. It's not the safest option. So if you are thinking of it, probably start lowering your lot size now. You just want to see how this candle closes. Hopefully we don't get that push now, and then we get a nice candle close, because if this candle pushes too far down, that's our whole trading range kind of, you know, out the window, and then it invalidates sort of the zone that I wanted to take a trade in. So it's got about, yeah, 45 seconds or so. That's kind of exactly what I didn't want it to do. Oh well. So that's basically it. Did that last about 25 seconds of the trade did what I wanted this new candle to do. And I wanted that old one to close at about this level and then take the trade based on a wick up and push down. But you can see all that happened was this candle in those last few minutes just ate all of our trading range, because I was expecting price to come down to about here. Now we're sitting on a level of support. So selling at this level is like selling on a support, and obviously that's not the wisest idea, should we say, to sell on a support. You want to sell at the break of support or at resistance. Check if we had any news coming in. I don't think so. We are coming down quite heavily. Just wouldn't get too excited though, because this could just be, we did have to correct at some point. We have to retest most probably this sort of area, and then we can start moving back up at a later stage. Really want to enter gold, but the risk to reward is just not right. I don't think you should worry too much about risk to reward, because if you know how to manage risk, your risk to reward is always going to be constantly changing. If you're managing risk properly, your risk to reward gets better and better by each time you manage that risk, or any sort of situation. Because if you had set out to, let's say, lose 10 pips maximum, you're only going to be, if you know how to manage risk, losing 5 pips worth of that 10 pips if you manage risk correctly. So don't stress too much about risk to reward. It's not something you have to only focus on or base a trade on. If you say, oh no, it's only a 1-to-1 or something like that, you can easily make what seems like a 1-to-1 way more in your favor than you think. I'm starving. Haven't eaten this morning yet. Here we go on a bit of a drop by the looks of it. Gonna make this our new area, because obviously if we are going to be looking for a correction of this move which we had over here, we're going to then need to see a candle close somewhere below 1902.82, I would say, because then obviously that gives us our range to continue down till possibly this sort of level. Market structure once again will be still bullish, so it is against the overall market structure and the overall trend. So just be aware of that. So it's just reading an email here. Okay, normally, yeah, I'll probably go stay on for about another 10 minutes, guys. Sorry, I'm feeling starving and lightheaded now because I haven't eaten. But let's see how this candle starts moving and where we're going to be heading. Like I said, we're at the top of this range now. With how the daily trend has been moving, I would expect that if we do form resistance here, we could even come down to this sort of level. Oh no, it looks like we got Jessica back here again. And unfortunately, you're gonna have to get immediately timed out. How do I do that? Produce it in timeout. Does that even work? There we go, yeah. Just interested to see what sort of level we come down to on gold. Obviously, this is the perfect situation for the type of setups I like to look for. What I like to look for is identify the trend that we're in and the market structure that we're in, which is of course bullish. We can see that we've created a high. Now we are creating somewhat of a clean move down. So what I want to see is us get to a previous level of support or resistance. You can see at the moment we are on a previous level of resistance. So if we start forming some support at this level, what that basically indicates to us is that is our break and retest, right? So we broke this level and then we came back down and retested this level. That's only if we form a support candle here, so a bullish 30-minute candle. And then at that stage, once we've retested, what we can expect to look for is then possible entries based on a retest of this high. Because remember, 90% of the time when we form a high or a low, we are going to retest it at some point. So ideally, this is what I call a type D, or what I teach as a type D entry, is this will form a support candle, and then we will obviously have hopefully a top wick, and then the next candle will wick down and then break the high of that candle and come to retest this sort of level. Doesn't always happen so easily and in such a clean way, but I've seen it happen too many times to sort of not act on it, so that's exactly what I'll be looking for. Even better situation, or not better, but what would give us more time and more range to trade into is if we did come down to, let's say, this level of support down here, we have still at that level maintained our bullish market structure. So market structure based on the 1 hour and 30 minute, due to where our high was created from, will only flip or transition below this area. So we'll only flip bearish in market structure once we get down to that level, making it possible that even if we come to this level of support over here, what we can then do is also wait for support to form at those levels. Maybe you can even look for some higher time frame support, some 1 hour, some 4 hours levels of support to form at those levels. And then that's where you look for your candle setup. So what you can wait for is some support to form, lower time frame resistance, mark that resistance out, then wait for your candles setups above that level of resistance. So then that's going to be entries once again to retest that high. And hopefully what we're expecting now is a clean move down to then have a clean move up. So that's what I'll be hopefully looking for on gold if we are going to continue with this overall bullish push. It obviously has been extremely bullish recently, so that's going to be something to take a look at. Pretty interesting situation we have on GJ. Obviously you can see we are trapped in this range. Now trading range is not, advised or an ideal situation at all, but if it's all that we're getting provided with, sometimes you can obviously act on that as well. So now that we're at the top of the range, we are in sort of a bearish well, the daily is certainly bearish. So what that's telling us is that today has had more sellers than it has buyers. Obviously this candle has sort of somewhat changed that. So what we can now expect to do is form resistance at this previous level of resistance. You can see we respected it multiple times. We've also formed resistance at a previous level of support. So that's your break and retest. What we can now hope for is once this resistance has formed, we have this clean candle to the left. So hopefully we can come down as easily as we went up. And then that's where I'll possibly be looking for some sells to retest the bottom of the range. So those are my GJ and gold sort of ideas at the moment. Hi, how are you? I'm great, thank you. And yourself? Thank you, enjoying it. Can you talk about gap fills in indices? I don't trade indices at the moment. I used to trade a little bit back in the, I'd say actually a year ago. I used to trade a little bit, but don't trade them anymore. But gap fills Also don't trade gap fills either. You can see that all the liquidity providers I use, I make sure that there is no gapping in them because I personally don't like it. And I've heard of this trading gaps and stuff like that, but I don't do that. So unfortunately, I'm definitely not the person to ask about that. Sorry, there was something in my eye. I think Raja actually got asked about that on stream as well yesterday. Trading gaps, yeah, not my sort of thing. This to about okay, then do you trade the imbalance like a strong candle and fade it? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't trade gap fills, I don't trade imbalances, I trade exactly how you guys have seen on stream for the past however long. Price action. I see a candle print the way I want to see it and it ticks all my confidence boxes. I take a trade based on that. No indicators, no stochastics and you know, everything under the sun that you can put, no shapes, nothing like that, no trend lines. Support and resistance, price action, and understanding market structure. Trading with the trend is probably the easiest way of describing it. Trading with the trend is definitely the easiest way of describing it, but the hard part is identifying the trend because you have people identifying trend, you know, 100 different ways. But the way that I identify trend certainly works for me, and I would hope some of you who have managed to pick up on how to identify trend and market structure have managed to implement it, and it's happened, and it has helped for you as well. Just understanding whether there's more buyers or sellers in the market, and are you on the side of those buyers or sellers? Really wanting us to form support at this level. That will help a lot. Just gonna send a message quickly, guys, and then okay, I watched some stupid guy's video. He claims he worked as an institutional trader and says they only trade with volume, profile, footprints, and tech analysis in retail. Well, I mean, institutional traders, everyone wants to claim to be an institutional trader, but not many are institutional traders. So, like I said, I don't really have much of I don't really have much of a view on that. I think that trade the way you want to trade. Don't try to listen to someone else. And what I would also say is you need to find a way of trading and stick to it for at least 6 months to understand if that way of trading is for you. If you're going to give something 2 weeks and say, you know, I haven't made profits or I haven't been successful in the last 2 weeks, let me jump onto the next way of trading. That's never going to work. Trading is never going to work like that. Give something 6 months, try gain consistency and follow that. Also, don't try and overcomplicate trading. You know, how I like to look at it is certainly less is more in every aspect of trading. That is the best way to look at trading. Less is more. So the less stuff I have on my screen, probably the better, to be honest, because as soon as I start adding 1,000 different indicators, these clouds which cover 90% of my screen and 15 different lines telling me what, you know, that moving averages and all that sort of stuff, then obviously it's just going to make things harder. So try to simplify it. Hello, Ronnie. You're a good man. I just liked your video. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sorry guys, I am just obviously waiting. Probably wait for this candle close. I'm just responding to some messages. There's not much we can do. Just got to sit back. If we do form some resistance at this level, I'm going to be very interested in taking the sells back down to the low of the range. But for that, we need to wait 10 minutes. So let's just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Stein, your flight attendant. Yes, right now. Gold's coming down, so still got 8 minutes. Just quick check on any news coming in. If anyone does have any updates on this Ukraine situation, Russia's plans. Okay, so that's nothing to do with it. Because obviously if we do start getting some good news related to the whole Ukraine situation, then yes, we are going to have a drop in the value of gold, because obviously then a de-escalation of the situation will lead to an increase of dollar investment and dollar value. So we do need to wait for obviously maybe a bit more clarity on the situation. It's also obviously very linked to the value of the pound if the UK does decide to get involved once again, which I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case anyway. Doesn't look like we're going to get our support form just yet, but we could just now. So I've just seen a warning on something else saying that sanctions on Russia are coming because they're about to start the war. It's becoming a fundamental channel. Six minutes till candle close. I don't think I'm too interested in taking these buys, to be honest. Yeah, please do remember to leave a like on the stream if you haven't already, guys. Blip, welcome. I'm very well, thank you. If the UK does get involved with Russia, can we expect the pound to go down? Yeah, if any country getting involved in the Russia situation can expect their currency to probably weaken. And we all know the yen historically is a safe haven currency, you know, so anything traded against the yen is probably going to lose value and the yen will gain value. So what's going to most likely end up happening if the UK does get involved in the situation is that the value of the pound against the yen is going to come down, and then we can expect a bit of a bear run. But we obviously aren't too sure yet if the UK are going to get involved or not. Like I said, I just saw a notification here saying that, you know, the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, has said that he's going to impose sanctions on Russia. So I think because Russia has now disregarded international law, so I think that they could, well, they most definitely are going to get involved. So let's just wait and see. We're coming down still on gold. Not involved in any trades at the moment, guys. I'm not taking any buys or sells. I had a sell stop set on GJ last night, which played out perfectly based on a breakout of this range, which we were trapped in. And yeah, it worked out perfectly, secured profits, and happy days. Got about 3 minutes left now till this candle close, so let's see what ends up happening. How do you manage a trade overnight? I'm assuming you just have stop loss set and that's it. No, with magic keys you can set partial stop losses as well. So let's say the stop loss which I'm determining is probably going to be around 20 pips. Just to manage it to be safe, I'll set one at about -10 as a partial stop loss, and that's going to take close half of my position. So of course you're not going to have the risk management capabilities you would if you're watching the trade completely, but at least you are still managing the trade while not being able to fully manage the trade. So you're not just accepting the fact that this is my stop loss. If it hits that stop loss, it is what it is, because that's how you end up in these situations where you sit as a break-even trader for years, and or someone who never gets into that profitable stage. So that's why, you know, the importance of magic keys or any trade management tool at that. Stop loss levels as well for those sorts of trades need to be set on the higher time frames. Magic key seems unreal. Well, to be honest though, it's kind of like it's like, imagine having the best, I'm trying to think of a good example here. Like the best sports equipment. It's unreal if you know how to use it, and it's only going to make a difference if you know how to use it. Some people get magic keys and they don't know how to manage trades and manage risk. So then it's like having the best cricket bat, but you don't know how to, you're a bowler type thing. You don't know how to bat. So it's definitely something you need to learn how to use and put to use. Otherwise, it's just a waste of a tool. Fuck me. Okay. Quite a strong bearish push on gold. Anything with magic keys can be done easily with a simple trade management panel on MetaTrader 5, which is also free. Well, Mr. Jesse Liverless, if you can show everyone how to do that, that would be great. Otherwise, I'm very happy with magic keys, and I don't mind paying. You know, you can get the on-screen one for $30. Now, if you think $30 is a lot of money, I don't think you should be trading. And the real one, of course, yes, is a little bit more expensive. It's about $160. That's a physical version. So there we go. It's like buying replica Nike shoes. There we go. That's like buying some fake designer clothes and saying this is the real thing. If you can show me that it works efficiently and can do everything the same, obviously buy your magic keys. There we go. If you're looking back in hindsight on gold as an entry, yeah, there was an impulse entry, to be honest with you. But you know, I'm not going to take a counter trend impulse entry. So yeah, maybe below 1903.94, around that sort of level. I wouldn't say it a much better entry. I was hoping to get the candle close a bit higher up and then taking it on this candle, which would have then started higher up. But because we pushed so far, I thought, okay, we're on a support. I'm not going to sell on a support. So I just stuck to my rules. I obviously have conditions I want to see, but yeah. It's idiotic to buy something when you can get the exact thing for free. But hey, keep smiling on magic keys to newbies. I don't know if you can get to the either the Telegram or the Discord, and please send me a screenshot of what this exact replica of magic keys looks like on MetaTrader. And also, you're talking about MetaTrader 4. I don't know if you're living in the Stone Ages, but MetaTrader 4, who uses MetaTrader 4 anymore? MetaTrader 5, if it's on MetaTrader 5 as well, then I use MetaTrader 5, so it would be nice to see. Like I said, $30. That's what the on-screen one costs. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so still, guys, probably gonna call it in the next couple of minutes. Still waiting for this resistance to form. We are still stuck in this range, but I would like to see resistance form. And then what I'm expecting to do is take some sells below wherever this candle closes. We obviously still have 20 minutes. Our range is going to be around, hopefully, 20 pips. That's what I'm looking for. I do want to see a nice strong resistance candle, not a weak resistance candle, because weak resistance can obviously very easily be broken and we could continue to the top side. So let's wait for some strong resistance to form and then continue with the overall daily trend, and we can see ourselves coming down to maybe back down to this 155.590 level at the bottom of the support. Other than that though, guys, I think that is going to be me done for the morning. Like I said, no trades taken on stream, just that sell stop which I had last night. Otherwise, you know exactly what I'm looking for on gold, some support to form, and then possibly see ourselves coming back up, also based on the fundamental possibilities that could be coming out. And other than that, there is no real extremely high impact news coming in today. There's some medium impact news coming in, which is obviously based or is going to affect any US dollar related pair. But again, we also have that situation which is ongoing, so please be aware of that. That's why it is a bit risky to trade gold, because fundamentally it could be a perfect setup, but then technically it could be a perfect setup, but then fundamentally things start changing. Other than that, trade safely for the rest of the day, guys. I think I'm going to be doing a Discord call a bit later this afternoon, so anyone who wants to join that, feel free. You guys have the link, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'll see you guys a bit later this afternoon. Trade safely for the rest of the morning and the rest of the day. And other than that, I'll see everyone else tomorrow morning for stream normal time. Cheers guys.